Welcome to MATMAK. This software features an ever-growing library, an easy-to-use platform, innovative editing tools, and web-based technology allowing you to access our library anywhere, anytime. Here on the homepage, you'll find some basic information about MATMAK Advanced Precut Solutions. We have over 100,000 patterns from different car brands in different regions from around the world, and we are adding patterns daily. To view our library, you'll hover over Products and click on Automobile. Simply start by selecting your make, the year, the model, the submodel, and the trim. And when it comes to the region, you can choose Asia, Europe, GCC, UK, or from USA. Now you're ready to display all the patterns we have to offer. You can filter through interior, exterior, and window tint templates. You can also filter through wrapped edges or unwrapped edges. You can hover over a template to either enlarge, get details, or start editing. When you click on details, you'll be able to confirm the year, make, model, and trim for your vehicle, and all of the patterns that are available for it. When you visit the pricing page, you'll have 3 options to choose from to get you started. The 14-day free trial at no cost with limited patterns up to 7 cars. There is a subscription for body fence users at $120 a month for unlimited patterns. There's also a subscription for other PPF brand users at $290 per month, also with unlimited patterns. For both monthly paid subscriptions, you can cancel or pause at any time. We also offer annual subscription plans for body fence users and other PPF brand users. You can expect to save over 20% over the monthly cost.
Visit the contact page to get in touch. Have questions or need technical support? Contact your closest MATMAK support office and we'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. Is our library missing a template you need? The MATMAK team can have it to you within 72 hours.
Now let's get started with creating your account. Let's go up to the top right-hand corner and click Register. Fill out this form with your basic information and accept the privacy policy and terms of use. Once you have filled this out and accepted the privacy policy and terms and conditions, click Register. You will then receive a text message with a 6-digit verification code. Once you receive your 6-digit code, you'll click Validate. You can also verify your account via the email you provided. Verification via email may take a couple of minutes, whereas SMS verification should be instantaneous. Please note that on this website, matmaksolutions.com, you can only view the library. You will not be able to make any edits or any cuts until you have registered an account, signed up for a subscription plan, and downloaded the cutting tool. Now that you have activated your subscription, we can go into the main menu. Here you'll see some new options such as My Patterns, My Favorites, Subscription Options, User Settings, as well as the download links for the cutting tool and the user guide. You can also log out. Let's start with our profile settings. On this page, you'll see all of the information you entered during registration, plus the ability to add your VAT or tax ID number, as well as your mailing zip code. After that, you'll see your current subscription tier and the link to be able to cancel your plan. Moving over to the left-hand menu, you'll have the ability to adjust or change your password and see further preferences. On this screen, you can set your preferred language, currency, and units of measure. As an option to personalize your product consumption and sales, you have the ability to add in your product's SKU, size, and cost, which gives your staff the ability to create a sales foundation. As an example, we'll enter in our Body Fence X 60-inch roll with our desired profit margin. Once you've completed entering in your preferred PPF, You can click Update to save any changes. Once we've entered in more information into our profile settings, we can actually see more details in the product library. So let's search for another pattern. You'll now see some new options in your search results, such as the ability to favorite patterns for quicker access. And in the Details page, you'll now see a drop-down menu featuring the films you added in your preferences. Once you select your desired film, the software will calculate general estimates for material consumption, cost, and an estimated selling price based on the information you entered in your preferences. Remember, this is an optional preference to help create a baseline to streamline your sales model. Now you're ready to download the cutting tool. Simply download the cutting tool and the user guide from the main menu in the top right. The user guide contains detailed instructions for using the installation wizard for the cutting tool, as well as any information you might need about MATMAK.
So now that you've downloaded the Precut tool, you can open it up and you'll be greeted with the login screen. Here, you'll enter the same login credentials as on the website during registration. So let's go ahead and sign in. Once you've logged in, you'll be greeted by your profile page, and all the information here should be the same as what you've entered on the website. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see all of your main menu options. So starting from the top, you have your vehicle search, your active cutboard, any saved cutboards, projects folder where you can have multiple different cutboards saved, and your cutting history, as well as the settings options. And that's a good place to start if it's your first time using the cutting software. So let's go here. Inside of the settings, you'll find two main options, your cutboard size, as well as your plotter. Under your cutboard options, you have both width and length. You can enter in millimeters, any width that makes sense, whether you're working on 24-inch through 60-inch rolls or even anything smaller than that. And for the length, you can change this on the fly, even while editing a current pattern on a template. Over on this side, you'll see your plotter options. So most USB connected plotters you'll find in this list here, which populates based on the printer list in your current Windows settings. So any USB connected plotter that you're working with that has the proper drivers installed should appear under your printers and scanners list. The MATMAK that I'm currently using here, the CG-FX2, is currently listed under my printers and scanners, and therefore I can find it here inside of MATMAK. If you run into any issues trying to find your USB connected plotter, or if it does not appear in the printers list even with the correct drivers installed, you can always connect your plotter using the IP address settings specified in here. And for Summa specific plotters, you can use these settings here. Once you've got your plotter connected and ready to go, you're ready to search for a vehicle. Let's navigate to our search tab, and we can start selecting the vehicle that we're looking for. So we're going to be looking up a Land Rover, Range Rover, SUV. We currently have an autobiography in the shop, and it is a 2024. Now we can either leave region unselected, or in this case, we know it's going to be a UK region because of the manufacturer. We can select UK and show our vehicles. So from here, you'll see all of the available templates. If we need to, we can filter based on interior templates. So we'll see things like our navigation screens, as well as some of the interior door panels. We can also filter just for our exterior patterns, and also whether or not we need wrapped or the unwrapped kits. In this case, we would want a little bit of extra protection, so we'll use the wrap kit. We can now see and navigate on our template selection area here by right-clicking and dragging to move the template. And to be able to zoom in, we can use the scroll wheel just to be able to see some of the smaller patterns that we may or may not want to select. In this case, we're just going to select a few from the bumper and headlights. And let's go ahead and just add the selected ones. However, if we wanted to add the entire template without having to select it, we can just use this option here. But let's add just our selected parts. and we can see a preview of what we have selected on the right-hand side. We can also hide this if we need more room to be able to zoom in or out of our template. So now we can add this into our cut board. An additional feature of the search tool is to have a history of your searched vehicles that you can quick reference at any time and reload by selecting the tabs seen here. So we can go back to any previously searched for vehicle, especially if you're working on multiple vehicles at once. You can also select and add multiple vehicles into a cutting board at any one time. So once we've added the template, it'll appear all in the origin point on our cut board. From here, you'll notice we have a new menu bar. The clear option deletes all patterns off of the current cut board. Cut option sends your cut board to your plotter. The nesting option activates the auto nesting feature. Save board will save your current board for future use so you can reload at any time. Overlap detection feature, when activated, will highlight any patterns in red that have an overlapped area so that you can adjust them before sending to cut. You also have undo and redo options for editing. You have your rotation options and zoom in and zoom out on your cut board. Here you have your full wrap option to expand any selected pattern. Partial wrap allows you to select 2 points on a template and expand just one segment. Split allows you to cut a pattern at any 2 specific points. Nodes is your full customization option for any selected pattern. The outward option will create a double cut line around your selected pattern. And finally, you have your sub-pattern removal tool. So this is good for turning off things like sensors in a pattern. To get started, we have everything set at our origin point. We can start with our auto nesting feature to be able to help get an initial layout started. So the auto nesting feature is a great way to get started when you have a lot of patterns to lay out on your cut board. And then from there, you can adjust as needed. To get started, let's go through some of the basic navigation features. To be able to zoom in and zoom out, you can use either the zoom in and zoom out tools in your top menu or your scroll wheel. To be able to move a selected pattern, you simply left click and you can drag that pattern anywhere on the cut board. There are a few different hotkeys and other functions that are good to know. While a pattern is selected, you can hold down the control key and use your scroll function to be able to rotate. You can also, of course, use the rotation tool in the top menu bar. Use the delete key with a pattern selected to individually delete specific patterns. Otherwise, if you use the clear board function, it will delete all patterns on the board. For MATMAK's tools, there's a couple more hotkeys to remember. Within the node tool, press P to add a point to the pattern, and press D to delete a point. The W key is needed to activate the partial wrap tool. Within the split tool, the S key will place your start and end point. Remember, each tool-specific hotkey can only be used once the tool has already been selected via the toolbar at the top of the screen. Now, let's get more in depth with how to use MATMAK's tools. When moving, if you suspect that there may be an overlap, or you simply need to do a final check before running a cut, you can turn on overlap. And you'll see any overlap patterns highlighted in red, which will give you the ability to move them and readjust. So for our installation, we don't need the sensors and other sub-patterns in our bumper template here. So with it selected, we can then use our sub-pattern removal tool to turn them off. And now we have a new, fresh template. We also have the option of splitting patterns. So with a pattern selected, like our bumper here, we can use our split tool, and you'll see as we move our cursor around, we can select the point that we want to be able to start the split and use the hotkey S, and then find our second point and hit S again. And now we have a split pattern. To further edit our template, we can also have it selected and use the full wrap option, which will expand in all directions around the pattern by our specified distance that we can select from this drop-down menu here. If you don't need to fully expand the entire pattern and only specific edges of a pattern, with it selected, you can use the partial wrap tool. And from here, you will hover over to the exact point that you need and use the hotkey W to start the selection, and then choose your second point and hit W again. And it will expand your pattern based on the specified distance. We can also do further customization by selecting a piece, like our headlight here, and using the nodes option, which will show you each individual point and vertice available on that current pattern. But we're not limited to just those. We can also add our own points onto this template by hovering and using the P key, and adding any nodes that we feel we need to further edit. From here, you can select any of the darker nodes, which are your points, and the lighter colored nodes, which are your handles, to be able to control the curves. To make our lives easier when weeding, we can also have a pattern selected and use our outward option to create a double cut line at a specified distance. And this will save us a lot of time. Instead of having to weed all of the unused material, we can just weed around the parts we need. So using the search history, we can search for and add multiple vehicles at once into our cut board. When working on multiple vehicles at once, you'll see that you have a color-coded key on your top left of your cut board that will let you know what each pattern is related to. After you've completed all of these custom edits, and this is probably a vehicle you might be doing often in your shop, you can save any board that you need for future use by using the Save Board option from the top menu here. And you can title it whatever you need. And then you just click OK. Once you've titled the board and saved it, you can then find any saved boards under your menu option here. And you'll see we have our board. And we can add this back into our active cutting board at any time. You can also delete any save board that you no longer need using the delete key to the right. Please note that once a cutting board is deleted, it cannot be recovered. So you can add any board that you need, and you can add multiple boards to your active cutting board area at any time. So let's add a few back. And we can go and see in our cut board, we now have our various templates that we had saved. And using these tabs at the bottom of the screen, we can swap between any of our active and save cutting board that we've loaded into the active cutting board. In addition to saving custom boards, you can also save projects. So these can be defined however you need. If it's going to be for your weekly setup, if it's going to be based on multiple installers in your shop, you can load up specific projects and save boards into each individual project to help manage your workflow and workload in your shop. So with multiple boards saved up and active at any one time, or when you're just first opening the program, you can go ahead and create a new project. And you can title it however you need. So you can save projects based on your weekly workflow, or you can save them based on the people in your shop, however suits your business. And from here, we can now see that if we load this project, so you can save your current projects and load them back at any time, or delete them when they're all completed, which you can mark their status here in this column and select Done. And from there, you'll know that it's okay to delete. But please note, once a project is deleted, it cannot be recovered. And that way, multiple users, or if you've got multiple projects going on, you can switch to them on the fly. And this will change up the search vehicle history, the cut boards, saved boards, and your cutting history based on the project. Inside of cutting history, you'll see any and all cuts sent to your plotter, and these can be reviewed or reloaded as needed. So now you should be fully prepared to get started using your MATMAK Precut software. If you do run into any further issues, whether it's plotter setup, pattern assistance, or anything else, we're happy to assist. Please feel free to reach out to us with any inquiries to one of our main offices listed on our contact page. We offer worldwide support through our main offices located in Dubai, the United States, Europe, and Australia.